Thank you for joining me here today, John. It's super nice to talk to you, and I'm very excited to learn more about you and your Catalyst proposals today. So maybe if you want, give us a short introduction to yourself. Who are you? How did you come to Cardano, and in crypto in general? And yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you for having me and thank you for making the time. I think it's really cool that you guys are reaching out to everybody and giving them the time of day. Like you said, my name is John Patrick. Everybody just calls me Patrick. I got into the space back in 2016 when a friend of mine, like I lived in China for years, and there was a mutual connect from Canada, asked me to go to a blockchain conference in Uganda because I had the right kind of passport to go there. And sort of, I went to the conference, I flew there not knowing anything about it. And I had a few interesting conversations around self-sovereign identity tracing stuff and the actual real world application because it was all very sort of outlandish before then. And that was still when sort of Ethereum was just getting popular and I didn't really invest in it and I spent a bit of time sort of doing marketing for these guys. And then about a year and a half ago, I was approached through an old contact, and he's a long time. He's one of the early adopters of Cardano, and he started talking about the vision that he has for it, the sort of community that they're in, and this all sort of triggered something for me that it sounded very interesting. Not your average day trading and all that sort of stuff. And he asked us to come on and do consultancy for marketing, doing account-based marketing, and seeing how we can apply that to what was, in his opinion, needed in Cardano. And yeah, so what was supposed to be just a quick consultation uh, turned my whole career and everything upside down. And we've been fully invested in building Cardano for the last year and a half now. And yeah, loads of projects, and we're building integrations and software and display platforms and all sorts of stuff. We were Catalyst funded in Fund 9 as well to build the Cardano Center in Cape Town. That launched actually 2 weeks ago, which I mentioned earlier. And that took me 6 months of love and attention and physical building, and yeah, so quite a lot of effort. But essentially just to see that there is a bit of love and attention going into the community and trying to create like the physical spaces where people can come together and actually say, that there's a put a face to it, make it less blockchain and make it more real world, and show that there are applications, test it out, and just be a bit of a sandbox for everything that we want to integrate into the real world existence, connecting that Web2 aspect of things. So yeah, and that's my background into it. Before that, I traveled all over the world. I was in West Africa for many years, and all these weird and wonderful places, and yeah, did all sorts of different things. So it's if you speak to those friends of mine from back then, they'll be very surprised to learn that I spend my days in front of a computer most of the days now. But yeah, it's been a really cool journey, and yeah, still really believe in the Cardano vision and where it's going. Specifically now, looking at all the efforts going into Catalyst again, stuff that you guys are doing, making personal contact. I'm a massive fan of that. Like I always like the fact that we can put a face to the name and integrate that. So yeah, that's it's it in a nutshell. Yeah, where it came from. Yeah.
That sounds really great, actually, and I really want to see what this Cardano Center looks like at some point, because that sounds incredible, honestly, and you have a very nice first name. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize people were calling you Patrick instead of John, but
yeah, no, that's I don't know why though. It just sort of happened, so I switched off. Like, but cool, yeah, namesake.
Yeah. So tell me more about your Catalyst proposal for this fund and building on NMKR.
Yep.
What's your plan? What do you want to do?
Yeah, so the proposal we've put in for the NMKR category is something that we sort of built a test platform for already in the site. I don't know if you've had a look at the site as well already. It's called Artboardz.net. I had an idea where I wanted to do 52 NFTs, each from kind of 54, sorry, from each from one of the countries in Africa when I just got started. I've got a profound love for Africa and traveling Africa. I've been to most countries in Africa, and once hitchhiked from the Netherlands to South Africa. It was actually a pretty interesting trip, and did documentary work. And so when I just started with these guys, I said, why not do a collection, sort of bring this all together. But on top of just having an NFT, have something where you can actually look who the artist is, have a bit of a bio up there. Because for me, from an outsider perspective and non-degen, if you like, was there's no attachment to the artist. I wanted to see how we can get real artists into the space and utilize what they're doing already and give them sort of a platform to do that. And what started as this sort of 54 project quickly evolved into Artboardz. And we started working with graffiti artists, specifically in Cape Town. And we had this idea to get someone that to do a digital creation first. We mint it on NMKR, and we sell it on as a project, and we use those proceeds for the graffiti artist to actually go and do the spray painting in a location in the city. So sort of, and the prerequisite being that we put a Cardano logo somewhere on it that's very prominent, to both spread the word of Cardano and just sort of get stuck into the community, give these guys another platform, also giving them all the royalties, not taking anything out of that. So so that was the idea. And like I think I shared the origins video with you guys. We did the first one here in Cape Town, where we got a local artist called Serge, and he did the origins of spray painting. So which is the Sun Bushman that used to hold their hands over it and sort of like chew the roots to spit over those to make the prints of the hand. And he did that as a sort of a vision and a mural. And we photographed and videoed that whole process, and we put that online. And we sold that out and used the proceeds to do that one. And then we decided this is maybe a good idea to build a platform for it. So that integrates with what we want to do is we want to integrate with the NMKR API, so we can provide the minting service and the secondary marketplace through the Artboardz website to give them a space where they can give their profiles. So each individual project and artist will have his own section that he can populate and update. And then using that to sort of simplify the process for them and give them the training as well, either in-house or online or even at the center, was the original idea. But we want to take it worldwide. And then we thought, why not do something like walking tours and loyalty programs as well? So where you can use that, what everybody touts is the real utility, right? But let's connect it to a real world application where something like a coffee shop or a brew house or something can actually utilize that to get in community involvement and utilize that Artboardz NFT as maybe a loyalty card or something of the sort. And so we designed the first sort of like prototype that you can see live already. And we said, yeah, when NMKR came up, like, we've used your minting services for all this, like, let's build on that, use you as the integrated API on the Artboardz and, you know, further and expand this. On top of that, we put a little world map on at the bottom that will be essentially geo mapping. And that geo mapping, it will then show the locations of the different Artboardz and the different artists. So, you know, so you can exactly see who's going to do what, where it's going to come up. Now, at the moment, it's only graffiti. It's like sort of the easiest connect because a lot of them are also digital artists. But, you know, we have this vision where it can be sculpting. It can be, you know, anything in the future that, you know, sort of connects to it. But that geo mapping opens up a lot of sort of interesting aspects, and also doing walking tours in the cities. So if we can get multiples of these up, there are versions of this being done. But the overlay we want to develop on Artboardz is to do also a sound, audio, and an AR overlay on top of it, like projects like Uzumaki and you know, with their collection, with Orodojo nodes, where you have an AR that you can do over it and do a vocal sort of tour, maybe doing something about the tourists, or about the sort of the artist, the painting, where it originated. And on top of that, maybe getting artists that have existing pieces. You know, there's nothing, we don't know really where it can go, in terms of maybe even digitizing existing artists' work and minting those and doing the AR overlay on that. And that's essentially the idea behind it, because, there's so many cool artists out there. Like, we just wanted another platform where we can have even leaderboards on top of there. So at the moment, you'll see that who the guys are that have that sort of own the NFTs and who's supporting the project. And what we did with one of them as well, we made a plaque where the top 10 guys that minted it got their names in there as well, as they wanted it displayed. So that actually, I physically screwed that onto the wall. It comes with its own challenges, because working with actual municipalities, getting the licensing for these spaces, because it's in public, we're not going out and tagging walls. We want it to be permanent sort of showpieces in the cities. So it needs to be a positive narrative around it. So, we don't want anything, in terms of, maybe if someone wants to write a political message or something like that. The main idea with this is to show that there's another way for artists to integrate into this, NFT space, and make it less, esoteric or difficult, but make it easy for them to connect this. And that's essentially what the Artboardz platform is, So we have a version of it up, but taking it to the next step, integrating the NMKR API, making it easy for them, and showcasing how they can use these royalties, like making it very simplified. And that's in a nutshell the vision we have with the Artboardz sort of project. Yeah.
I mean that sounds like a really good plan, and seems to make a lot of sense. It's all about onboarding, a whole new group of artists to the space, and actually providing a platform that gives them a benefit, and is not just there to, I don't know, sell NFTs once, but actually, provide them like a long-term way to generate revenue with their art. I think that's great.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. No, you get it. That's cool. Yeah.
I do get it, because that's that's what we try to do with NMaker as well, like just making the tools that people can use to onboard themselves basically to the space. So
exactly,
very cool. So thank you, Patrick, for explaining this so nicely, and I can't wait to see what happens in the vote. Have a great rest of the day.
Yeah.